few weeks ago, I was going through a reading slump, and this is how I got out of it. Hello everyone, welcome back to this new video. Today, I'm basically going to be talking about the 3 books that got me out of a very annoying reading slump. Let's just get right into it. First book, Remarkably Bright Creatures. I mean, this book was popular a couple of years ago, to be honest. I cannot recall, but since film coming out earlier this year, just reminded me of its existence and made me think, why have I not read it yet? I mean, I think all I needed to get back into reading was finding a new thing to love. Because since Rocky, there hasn't been anything else. And Marcellus, so sweet, so sweet. He made me tear up. First chapter in, and I'm already obsessed. It starts as day 1299 of my captivity. Darkness suits me. Each evening I await the click of the overhead lights, leaving only the glow from the main tank. Not perfect, but close enough. Almost darkness, like the middle bottom of the sea. I lived there before I was captured and imprisoned. I cannot remember, yet I can still taste the untamed currents of the cold open water. Darkness runs through my blood. Who am I, you ask? My name is Marcellus, but most humans don't call me that. Typically, they call me that guy. For example, look at that guy. There he is. You can just see his tentacles behind the rock. I am a giant Pacific octopus. I know this from the plaque on the wall beside my enclosure. I know what you're thinking. Yes, I can read. I can do many things you would not expect. The plaque states other facts: my size, preferred diet, and where I might live were I not a prisoner here. It mentions my intellectual prowess and penchant for cleverness, which for some reason seems a surprise to humans. Octopuses are remarkably bright creatures, it says. And it's just going on, and it's just, I'm obsessed with him already. This is amazing. There's no way this is not going to be a 5 stars, and I will finally be out of my reading slump. I'm so excited. That wasn't very gracious. So, quick 11% check in. We have been introduced to 2 other characters, starting off with Tova, who is an older lady whose son has gone missing and whose husband, I believe, passed away from cancer. And then there's this other character, Cameron, whose aunt lives in the trailer park. And she raised him since his mom had what's the word? What's a clever word for this? Substance problem. Loving both of them, we've mainly seen Tova's POV, and then you get another chapter with Marcellus, which are by far my favorite chapters. Tova's really funny as well. The writing is just spectacular. And then with Cameron, it's only been 1 chapter so far, but I'm loving it too. I can see why this is such a bestseller. It's bloody brilliant. Oh man, this book is going to break my heart, isn't it? That book was so, so beautiful. Can't remember what I said on the clips when I was reading this book. Basically, we're following our main character Tova, who lost her child, lost her husband, and she's just very hard worker. She's just needs to be doing stuff, and then she meets this guy who's just a mess, and he's supposed to be covering for her while she has this injury. And then you get to the end of this book, and there's that beautiful twist of the story, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. There was no way I wasn't going to give this a 5 stars. So right away, I got out of my reading slump, and then I read Shark Heart. In another book, I think I remember hearing a lot about it in 2024, perhaps, and I was intrigued from the first time I heard about it because, well, let's be honest, a book about someone turning into a shark, that does sound intriguing, doesn't it? I went into it thinking it was just going to be just a kind of a weird, perhaps funny book. I was so incredibly wrong. That book was so, so, so beautiful. My god, it's bright. So I have started reading Shark Heart, a love story by Emily Habik. And let me tell you, this is not what I expected its book to be. Like, I knew it was about someone who had some sort of disease that was turning them into a shark. But it's, I suppose it's sort of like magical realism because it seems to be like a thing in this world where that could be like sort of disease, a mutations, like another type of cancer almost. The writing is just very different and fast paced and just absolutely amazing. Like I'm loving it as well. Feels good to be reading such great books so back to back. This one, as I said, the writing is very good, very fast paced, and the story has like really short chapters, sort of say, like it goes month by month, but in each month there are different chapters and it's incredible. But something that like I absolutely loved about it was, well, like right off the bat, the first page, so good. So let me read it to you. The early days after I left New York, I would ruminate, doubt all my choices, but when I met you, I began to thank my failure. Maybe failing was a kind of miracle. Maybe everything happened just right. But my point is, what I'm getting at is, my failure as an artist led me to you. With your bird wrists, twig fingers, you with your efficient days, making lists, researching, you who can make a spreadsheet about almost anything. You make everything better than when you found it, even me. Will you let me stand beside you on your plot of earth? We will tell the weeds to grow tall around our ankles, and when the wind gives us sycamore seeds, we'll raise them as sprouts, seedlings, saplings, until they overpower, shade, and nurture us. Our trees will grow for 200 years or more as our union becomes even more unquestionable and strong. Unquestionable, because no one will remember a time when we were not creating our universe. Strong, because trees 200 years old have been great witnesses to it all. Then, one day, we'll die, we'll die gladly into the soil we shared, and fungi will take over what was once our bodies. Bouquets of mushrooms, little families, will mark the place of our lives. To be of the ground is to be of life. You taught me that. You, a woman whose deepest belly laugh makes no sound, a woman who notices every detail, a woman made of a brilliance you don't see, no matter how many times I show you. Sometimes I wonder if you might not be a person at all, but a spirit, or a fairy, or a memory. And I'm watching Good Morning America in a hospital room in a prison, or maybe this is all the most wonderful, strange dream. I don't want to wake up. I like to think we met in a daydream once, a long time ago, and decided to meet right here, right now. Ren, you are the most complicated person I have ever known. I mean, in the best way, complicated and somehow terrifically unaffected by fragile things like youth, beauty, promises, and dreams. And I want to keep on knowing you. Well, trying to, all the days of my life. So I want to ask you, will you marry me, Ren? Will you be my wife? So, so beautiful. Can't say because it's spoiler, but come on, this girl really, really, she had to go through that. No one. This book is so sad. Finished up Shark Heart, and wow, this was quite the ride. I don't know what I was expecting from this book, but certainly not this. We start the story, like half of the book, we're seeing the story like from the point of view of the two main characters, the man who's turned into a shark and his wife. And we go back and forth with some bits of their past and then the present of the whole transformation. It's written in a very different, not very different, in a different sort of way, and it's just fascinating to me. I loved the writing. Very lyrical, I would say, and very beautiful. Very fast paced, really short chapters, and just keeps you hooked, and it goes by so quickly. And then the other half of the book, well, we see a bit of friends who's the wife's past and her mom, and then the epilogue, and what? what's this? Can't believe, but I feel like this is also 5 stars, and I'll definitely be thinking about it. Shark Heart, a love story. Don't be fooled by the title. I don't think anyone could be with the premise of this book of a man turning into a shark. But yeah, it's not. It's a book that talks about all the different types of love, like friendship, family, romantic, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It makes you think. There are so many quotes worth highlighting and thinking and pondering and just journaling about. And I really feel like it's a book I should definitely reread in the future because, yeah, yeah, there's a lot to take from it. It's absolutely brilliant, just amazing. It is, in fact, about a man who's literally turning into a white shark, but it's in a world where that kind of is a thing. It's gosh, it was. I did not see it coming. First of all, it was written so poetically. It's very poetic in its writing, and it explores love in a way that I haven't really seen before in the books that I've read. It's so deep, so beautiful, as I said, and it makes you like think about so much. Yes, it is kind of in a weird, strange place, I guess, like how a book about a man turning into a shark is going to be beautiful, but it is. His love for Ren is beautiful, and that's just the first part of the book, because then there's the second part. You see a bit about Ren and her mom, and then you also kind of then get sort of an update of where the man who turned into a white shark is, and it's no at no point ever it stops being just beautiful. And as I said, it just explores love, and not just romantic kind of love. Like it's just amazing. And of course, that was my second 5 star. And then the last book I read was Hard the Lover, a book that I think everyone has been talking about for a reason. It made me like just want to keep reading. They were all in one way or another about love in very different ways. This one was more devastating, more I don't want this. I'm going to read Hard the Lover now. It wasn't on my plan, to be honest, to read this on this video. Honestly, it wasn't on my tibia at first, I'm not gonna lie. But after reading Remarkably Bright Creatures and Shark Heart, I feel like I'm in this mood, you know, the literary fiction, books about love. I'm feeling it. Though probably after this, I will have to change genres or at least a bit of the theme, you know. But yeah, I'm just in a love mood, so let's read this one now. I know literary fiction is messy, yet I always end up getting surprised anyway. Why? Why? Why did I not see that coming? Ouch. Ouch. Hard to love. What can I say about it? It took a turn I didn't see coming, and as it happens with literary fiction, it's a very much character-driven, not plot-driven sort of book. And we start off with our main character and her years in university, the people he meets, specifically 3 guys she meets in during university, and her relationship with them, and how it progresses during that year in university, and then one last semester, and bloody hell. And that's just the first part of the book. And then it ends in a way that heartbreaking. And then we've got the second part of the book. It's many, many years later. It's painful and beautiful about it, and just the views of love and forgiveness and life. Because yeah, life is not perfect. I think that's what I love so much about literary fiction books. To me personally, it just changes my view on everything. It always gives you just a tiny bit of hope, you know, at the end, the very end, basically. You know, Hard to Love. I'm not even sure what it is that I loved so much about this book. It was beautifully written. I did enjoy like it had a lot of like references to other books because the main character, I think she was studying literature, English, something. Basically, just you did get sort of like recommendations of really great books that I have since added to my list. I'm interested in reading as well. It was very beautiful, but in a devastating way. It's not a beautiful story. Like it's a sad book. It's a very sad book. It really managed to make me feel whatever it wanted to make me feel. There's this letter that the main character gets. I don't think I have been this angry with a character before. What a piece of crap. It was awful, awful. And then the book gets kind of cute, like and hopeful, and then it just goes downhill from there. And I don't know, but ever since reading those books, I feel like I've got my spark back, you know. I'm not gonna say that all of the books I have been reading since have been perfect. I have had a DNF since, and I have books that I haven't finished yet. I had one in particular that I was hopeful, but it disappointed me, but doesn't matter because in the end, those three books made me so incredibly happy to read again that I don't know. I highly recommend them as books to just get out of a reading slump. It started hopeful and then it went to just amazingly beautiful, kind of hopeful, but not in the same way. And it ended with a devastating end. But I do still think about those three books every day. And every time I'm like, I'm not in the mood to read, I kind of force myself I remind myself of how I felt with those three books and just keep pushing through. I'm chasing the high, you know? I don't know. But I had those random clips from when I was reading those books and I wasn't sure of what to do with them. And I thought this was the perfect way to talk about them because they are the books that got me out of a reading slump. They are the books that I still think about when I'm not sure if I want to read at all. And yeah, and they were just beautiful. I just had to talk about them. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you haven't read those books, I hope you give them a try and let me know what you think. And if you have read them, let me know what you think anyway, because I would love to know. They're, for me, just bloody perfect. Hopefully, I will see you in my next video.